All right, Algebra 1. So the first thing we need to talk about is what is absolute value? We are in lesson 10.5, and we're talking about absolute value in open sentences. So now we're solving an equation with an absolute value statement in it. Can you solve equations and inequalities involving absolute value? So let's first talk about absolute value. Remember, absolute value is the distance a number is from 0. And an inequality is less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Sometimes it's even a not equal. So the thing we have to talk about right here when we're solving example 1, if I have the absolute value of x plus 4 is equal to 1, remember that number, because of the absolute value, that number can be a negative number or a positive number. So I always tell my students we have to set up a positive and a negative. The positive we're going to write exactly like we see it without the absolute value. X plus 4 is equal to 1. The other one, we're going to change everything from the inequality or the equality over. We're going to change all the signs. So I'm going to write this as x plus 4 is equal to negative 1. So now we're just going to solve. In order to solve this one, I do have to subtract 4, and it looks like x is equal to negative 3. And when I solve the other one, if I subtract 4, I get x is equal to negative 5. So no, it's not always the same, like negative 3, positive 3. These are two totally different numbers, negative 3 and negative 5. The best thing that we could do is check it. So if I check negative 3 plus 4, is that absolute value equal to 1? Well, yeah, the absolute value of 1 is 1. What about negative 5 plus 4? Is that absolute value equal to 1? Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is equal to 1. And the last thing that we have to do is graph. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these things so we can graph it. When I graph, I'm just showing my two numbers. In this case, x is equal to negative 3. And you could show your 0 if you want. 1, 2, well, I showed my 0 in the wrong place, so that wasn't very good. All right, I'm also going to mark my negative 4, negative 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a dot on top of negative 3, because that was one of my answers, and negative 5, because that was my other answer. Notice there's no greater than or equal to on this one, so I'm just going to show a dot. But on example 2, it tells us to solve and graph again. And now notice I have a less than 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do a positive and a negative. I'm going to set up the positive exactly like I see it. W plus 2 is less than 3. Let's solve this while we're here. We could subtract 2 to each side. W is less than 1. Numbers smaller than 1, which would be 1. Well, 1 is not equal to, so it would be 0.9. 0, negative 1, etc. On the other side, remember I'm going to take everything from here on over and switch it. So I have W plus 2 is greater than negative 3. When I subtract 2, I get W is greater than negative 5. So let's graph this. I have a negative 5. And hopefully you know that is to the left of the 1. Because W is less than 1, I'm going to have an open circle going to the left, this way. And because W is greater than negative 5, I'm going to have an open circle going this way. So notice this one connects. So if I wanted to, I could check a number right smack dab in the middle. Let's check this 0 because I love checking zeros. 0 plus 2, yeah, that is less than 3 for sure.